Welcome to yet another edition of Career Chronicles with Amaka. Today I am honored and privileged to have Chioma on set with me, the visionary founder and executive director of African International Film Festival, preferably called AFRIF. Thank you for joining us, Chioma.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. So I'll just go right into the questions so we don't take so much of your time. It's around inspiration and your vision. I would like to ask you, what inspired you to create the African International Film Festival, and how did you bring your vision to life?
It wasn't so much of an inspiration. It happened. I always questioned the industry and where I thought it should be and how we were working so hard and doing so hard with nothing and still moving ahead. And so as I believe in the power of your thoughts. So when you think hard and want something, it follows you. And so you have to trust the process. And so for me, moving back to Nigeria, subsequently taking NFBCB to London, was a road show. I met Peace and Uncle Mahmoud. Those were the first, I met a lot of people, but I connected with those two people. And so I would always say Peace was part of my journey because she brought me into AMA to say, how can I work with her what can I add to what she was doing? And that was, she had just finished the second episode. And so I worked with her on CSR and I told her, why CSR, why give back, And so for me, that has always been the bane of who I am. I love to give back. And so doing that, there was a traveling film festival that came to town and they were interviewing people. And I was suggested by 3 or 4 people. And so when they interviewed me, it was me. They chose to project manage that film festival. And so just to speed up things, I did it very well. And the state said to me, how can you do this for Nigeria? It was Marcus Nleji, who was commissioner at the time, that said to me, listen, you did so well. I think you should do this for Nigeria. And so luckily I had a mentor then, Oronto Douglas, who is late now. And I went to him and I said, this is really huge. I wouldn't like to start small. I'd like to start at this level. So do I get that kind of support? And he says, yes, I will support you. And so that's how it started. My journey always comes from a place of help, a place of giving back.
That's very interesting. And it's also very interesting to see that along the way, mentors are very important to your growth, and your believing in what you have to do and believing in yourself is one of the pivotal ways to grow in your career. Good to hear. How do you see AFRIF contributing to the growth of African cinema and supporting emerging filmmakers?
Having our films in Nigeria shown on a huge platform like AFRIF is very good for filmmakers because the world gets to see the film.
Sure.
In a festival, you have different kinds of people come on board. You have people that are training, you have people that want to buy, you have streamers, you have intellectuals. So it's a vast array of people that need different things out of film, whether it's just to watch a film or to buy a film or to know which filmmaker to work with for something international or local. And so having that platform has pivoted a lot of filmmakers. We train during the festival, beyond the festival, and we keep sending X amount of people abroad to train at no cost to them. And so we've done a lot of that. The festival is really for the people.
Yeah. Because
every other day I have an organization call me from different part of the world to say, we want this. So it's for me to sit down and say, okay, if you want this is who you talk to. Where that funnel for the industry, for different things, be it a new streaming platform coming, what conversations are being held globally, how is Nollywood being viewed, what are the next steps. The festival gets to know this before most people do. I'm not saying that we're the only ones, but I would say we're the major ones. Yes. And so it's my job, the festival's job, because the festival is not about me, it's never been about me, to inform the right people to say this is what's happening and this is what people want and this is how you should position yourself if you want to sell your film. This is what. So we've done that for Africa. I went to RA Studios not too long, and that's owned by Ava DuVernay, and I was so proud to see on her wall. And the lady was telling me 5 of the films we distributed went to your festival.
Wow.
And so the very first film we screened at our opening was sold by her. internationally. So it's good to know. You never know who's doing what. You never know how far it's going to go. But it's a rich platform for any filmmaker.
Thank you. As a leader in the film industry, what qualities do you believe are essential for fostering innovation and collaboration?
You always have to have an open mind. With change, you have to understand that it's going to happen. I was reading a magazine and it was on Tyler Perry.
Oh yeah.
And he was so upset. He was actually complaining that he was about to build 12 new sound stages, and with AI, is disrupted what he wants to do. And he was saying, everybody wake up because the AI is going to change things. There's no waking up to it. It is a movement and it's going to change. So how do you embrace it? How do you lean into it? How do you use it for the future?
Yeah.
And so innovation is about the individual. That's why you have some leaders in the phone telco industry. Today they're non-existent.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we used to buy Nokia phones. Nobody knows about Nokia phones anymore. So we have to always have an open mind and want to innovate. Innovation is progress. And if you don't, you'll be left behind.
Interesting. What are some of the biggest challenges you faced in establishing AFRIF, and how did you overcome them?
My biggest challenge was funding and acceptance. Today, everybody has accepted it, and funding continues to be a challenge, but not so much as it was before.
Yeah, I think when you do something good, you're going to be accepted. Is that the saying, or?
No, it's a saying, but it doesn't really work with the festival because doing good has to make sense to me that I'm funding.
Yeah.
So you can be doing good for all I care. If it doesn't make sense to me, that's fine. You keep doing good and it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, true.
So I find that I have to sit down and open their minds as to why the creative industry. Why Nollywood. I know the interesting about film is that it really embodies everybody. Embodies fashion.
Yeah.
Embodies cosmetics. Embodies food, down to carpentry. You have your production, design, you need all that. It embodies music. So film is that tree that has so many branches.
Yeah.
And so if you explain it to them well, then they begin to see a part of themselves in it.
Can you share a moment in your career where you had to take a significant risk or make a tough decision?
A tough decision was leaving Calabar to come to Lagos.
Okay.
Because everybody loved Calabar. It was a tough decision again because at that point, I did not want the festival. And not only did I not want it, it wasn't even going to happen unless I took the steps for it to happen. So while we were working with the federal government and the state governor, Imoke, there was a new governor.
Okay.
And for me, I didn't want to keep going back to every new governor. So I said, I'm going to move this to Lagos. It's probably going to be smaller, but I'm going to sit down and make the corporates understand and see why. So it was a huge risk. The easiest thing for me to do was go to the governor and tell them why Calabar, why it was so good and blah, blah, blah. And I expect him to, I didn't want that. And so while it was such a risk, it has panned out very well.
Nice. And it's also interesting to see that you didn't just start from Lagos, you actually were in Calabar before you came to Lagos.
I was in Port Harcourt, I went to Calabar.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
I don't think everybody knows this about AFRIF. That's a good one. It's a good one to know. What personal values guide your career, and what advice would you give to young creatives in the African film industry?
I've worked so hard to protect my privacy. And so from the get-go, I knew I had to push AFRIF forward and me backwards. If you want to build a brand and not yourself. And so for me, it's really helped to just focus on the brand. And if you're really working hard, it's also hard to do both. At some point, it's going to pivot to you because everybody wants to know, okay, so who did this? And so I believe in being very organic and doing things that way. It has really worked for me as a person. It won't work for everybody. Now, for the young filmmakers, to make it work with us, they have to meet us halfway. They have a way and a pattern of doing things that's very different from how we do things. And so us recognizing that and also recognizing that they're wired so different would really help. I talked to a group of mentees yesterday And we focused a lot on that because they have a different way of thinking and doing things. They want to do things when they want to do it. And we want to be quick on our feet. So that has, you have to do it different. Humility, we were overtly humble, which might not be so good, but because we are that way, we expect you to be that way. So I would say just to meet people halfway and not just focus on this is who I am. I want to work 2 days instead of 7. We work 7 instead of 5. They want to work 2 instead of 5. Yeah. So it's just learning who you're with and also learning the generation they come from and then finding a way to fit yourself into it. Because if you don't, filmmaking is all about practicality. You can learn all you learn in school. If you don't have a proper mentor, somebody who's ready to build you out, it's going to be really difficult. And so why make it difficult if you can make it better?
What keeps you motivated in work, and how do you balance it with your personal life?
So this is so cliche, but it is who I am.
Yeah.
I always want to do more, to push for more, to give more. And so those motivate you already. If you're not wanting to be known, your personal life is intact. So I don't want to be known. I don't really care for that. So I can go to any restaurant, nobody knows who I am, very few people, and so I can make noise. I can jump on the table, I can dance. And it won't cause any ruckus because I'm just like anybody else. Yeah.
That's interesting. For people that have dreams and aspire to become something, do you have any advice you can give them that would keep them motivated through their path?
So, for dreams to come true, you have to have tenacity. You have to bite and stick to it. You're going to have really, really painful moments. Because that's just how God does it. For me, for you to get to your dream, if it comes really easy, that dream is not going to last. And so if you're engaged, that's for me, if you're engaged with God, He's going to put you through the path and also put you through the fire so that you know when you get there, you know how to sustain it. So there's no dream that happens in a day. It is continuous and you will get there. You will get there. So you have to love your dream, be about your dream, and hold on to it. When one bad thing happens, don't let it go. Continue. So again, you must have a strong conviction of that dream. Many people have wanted, I want to be a musician, I want to be this, something happens, it's not for me. Then there was no strong conviction. Yeah. But there's some convictions that are strong.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Chioma. And thank you guys for tuning in. Stay inspired.